Right, hi Anais. So Beautiful is a campaign that sort of encourages people to be themselves. In the various, a lot of people are impacted by mental health around the world, and they sort of get embodied in this shell, which sort of keeps them hidden, and internally that sort of creates turmoil for some individuals. So Beyoutiful is basically be you, to encourage people that it's okay to express their true beings. So, what is your thoughts on this campaign?
It's very sweet. I think it stems from such a kind awareness of a lot of the shadow around the world, but it approaches it with such a sweet perspective, even beautiful. Like I've never thought of that before, but I really like it. It makes me feel already very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think? Have you ever been impacted by mental health?
Absolutely. I think most people around the world have, especially in the last few years with the pandemic and a lot of the world's moving around.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything specific that the way mental health impacted you, or is there a situation you'd like to share with everybody?
Hmm. In what context?
In the context of how mental health impacted you?
Um, I mean, in relation to this campaign and how people can sometimes be in their own shells, I used to be mute for 2 years because of how anxious I was and how shy I was, and it impacted me physically to a point I couldn't speak. And over the years, I've worked on that greatly, and expression is one of my greatest things now,
Mm-hmm.
most favorite things. But yeah, it affects and has affected in multiple ways.
How do you think mental health impacts? How do you think people are impacted by mental health in your industry, say modeling or any other industry? That
It's a very competitive industry, and it's also very media focused. So, one, it's competitive. Two, you consume as much as you have to create. And a lot of what we consume is also very curated. A lot of productions have so much money to create one image or one clip that conveys a certain message. But behind it were probably a lot of people that were sleep deprived, exhausted, hustling for years to get to a certain point. So um, I think the way that people become successful can be very depleting for anyone that's a creative in the industry.
what are 7 tips you would give to somebody for more positive mental health?
Um, Give yourself some time to find a community of people that you feel like you can trust to share any side of you. Um, Make sure that you find outlets to express whatever exists within you, whether it's journaling, dancing, processing, meditating, boxing. You know, everyone is very different, but let it out so it doesn't stay in. Um, I would say be patient with the fact that you're a human being and you will experience both sides of life spectrum, from all the beautiful things to the lesser things. It's part of the experience, and don't rush in trying to already be completely pure from everything. Allow yourself to sometimes be confused by the tide of the wave. Um, hmm, Go to therapy if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, there is like the basic things of like nature's helpful. If you have a body you can move it. If you have a voice, you can speak. And yeah, I think um, be patient, practice self care, however that means to you, allow outlets, and find a community that you trust.
And the social cause of Mission Elixir and basically Beyoutiful campaign is to sort of prevent suicides from happening. So, what do you think about this specific cause, and how can a person who is suicidal be helped out?
And so it's kind of strange how many people, like a lot of people, experience suicidal thoughts or have thought about taking their life away. And especially in bigger cities, the number is much, much higher. And then not only from that, then it escalates to people that actually have taken attempts to commit suicide. And to me, it's a very heartbreaking topic because I myself haven't had too many walks through that path. Of course, I have, like every other human. I've had, um, moments where life was really bad, and you know, but I was always a big lover for life still, and always had a very big trust that things will work out at a certain point. And I have had a lot of people that are close to me that have experienced this at a much deeper level, and that's why for me it's very heartbreaking because these people that I love so deeply that have make my life worth living don't believe that their lives are worth keeping sometimes. And what can help, again, I'm not a professional, but I think it has to be an inner decision for the individual to find and remember why you're here. And even when you don't have people around you, your work isn't working, your things are not in alignment for you, things are depleting for you, even in those darkest hours, there is something that has kept you up to this day. And reconnect with your soul, because it's your soul that chose to be here. It's your soul that has been grateful for the smallest things. So give it some time and be compassionate with these feelings and with these thoughts. And I promise, if you look for it, good things can come.
And for the people who feel like they're unable to express themselves, how, what tips would you give them?
So once again, I was mute, and I was mute for 2 years. So 2 years I could not talk to anyone, so I couldn't express literally. And it took me a lot of trial and other errors. I started learning to speak slowly to like people in shops or in a grocery stores, stuff like that. And then I would reverberate back to not speaking. And I think for people that are struggling to express themselves or have outlets, in your process of trying to understand it, be patient that you might relapse. And it's not the end of the world. Most times when we progress, we step back so that we can take 5 steps forward. It's just how, literally, like we were talking about the ocean moves forward, but it always goes back to move forward. So if you're trying now, it's part of the process to move back.
Mm-hmm.
And just focus on what you love. Do you love to write? Do you love to sing? Do you love to do business? Do you love to negotiate? Do you love to be comfortable? Like, what is it that you love? Do you love to be around family? Find that thing that you feel most yourself in and start practicing the ways that you can express through it, and find the ways that you will have to work within yourself and other parts of yourself that are not comfortable to express. Slowly encourage them to come out and respect the boundaries as well. So be the friend, and then when they need to go back to their, safe space, it's okay. You've at least brought them out and now they're more comfortable. So next time you can bring it out even more.
And if this topic was to be made into a film, how do you think that can be portrayed?
Documentary. Get people's authentic.
And what about the people who don't really like to watch documentaries and more like Netflix?
I mean, there has been like things done like that, like the 13 Reasons Why. That was a book that then became a movie, which I think was very engaging. Something. Honestly, I think something that could be very sincere, but also make people feel light. Like enable humor somehow so that it can you can educate people, but you don't bring them in the darkest emotional space. Somewhere where people feel like they can recognize themselves, but they can also practice laughing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything specific in regards to mental health you would like to advise the world?
We all go through it. It's okay. It's part of being human, and be very patient with yourself. And the more patient you can be with yourself, the more patient you can be with whatever things are happening. And what I've noticed is patience can bring a lot of abundance and kindness and goodness in your life. And just give it some time.
All right, thank you, Anais.
Thank you.